Yo, let's go. Alright, Legendary 1. I'll get to you once I get done with these stupid platforms. There we go, okay. Alright, I still gotta focus on the platforms. I don't like to be late. Yeah, so far, like, Corpse Explosion just as OP as in D2, if not more so. It's definitely a good AoE damage. I only have like 1 point into it right now. The Skellies are trying to focus on all the summons, get as many summons up as I can. It could be useful. I don't really use Bloodlance. Yep. You play the game for 10 minutes. Play the game for 10 minutes and then they just boot you out of there. I was watching a streamer at the same time as I was playing. He didn't get booted off one time. They prioritize this stuff to streamers only. Must be nice. It's not like we're all not paying $100 for the damn game.
Oh, you come too late.
I feel another legendary coming. Too high a level for not having enough legendaries. Oh yeah. Okay, well that's better than my Sorcerer's Helm. Much better. Boss fight time. I'm pretty sure these Skellies are all gonna die like right off the bat against this guy, but we are gonna find out. Throw that Iron Maiden on him. Always keep Iron Maiden propped. I'm not too sure about this blood form thing. Like you're immune to damage, but like you know you move really slow. I mean it's a good ability to, I guess, to negate like really hardcore damage that you know is incoming from a boss. Yep, there went my Skellies, okay. Got him down a decent amount though. So one nice thing about Hydra is they don't have life pools. Now, if you take the right talent points, though, you know, if you're actually, putting your skill points into the right thing, you can definitely spawn a lot more corpses just by using your basic attack damage, basically. So every once in a great while I get a corpse or two here or there, and then I just continually raise the Skellies up to try to have them be more aggroed. Seems to like the aggro tables are not like on bosses anyways. It definitely is still like kind of on you. We need a corpse, okay. Shooting that purple shit at me. Oh, you know what this reminds me of is that South Park episode, Mr. Hanky just comes back to life and throws waves of poop everywhere like he's Mickey Mouse and that weird Mickey Mouse. Is it Mickey Mouse? I don't remember. The Disney thing, he's got the magic wand and stuff. I don't know. I didn't watch that much Disney growing up. Like giant waves of poop. This guy's Lord of the Sewers. I'm not gonna lie though, if I saw a giant wave of shit coming at me, I'd probably get out of the way. I probably wouldn't want to mess with somebody that could do that. Negate some of that purple goo damage. Oh, there we go. Yep, you're still gonna die. I'm still gonna take you down. Just keep kiting. See, these random corpse spawns is actually a skill point that you can spec into. It's pretty dope. It definitely helps out in boss fights like this guy. All the other boss fights, after you get some decent gear, it's not hard at all. And no, I'm not on easy mode. This is on veteran mode. Then again, it's not hardcore. That's the real man's mode. I guess I'm not a real man. Man, this wave of sewage. Must be his time of the month. I don't know. It's like green and red. It's sewage and it's menstrual stuff. Yeah, this is like the first time though, like my skellies have just like completely dropped off pretty early on. Normally all my skeletons are just shredding bosses, but this guy definitely is probably one of the bosses that hurts the most. Obviously outside of the world boss. I still think Sorceress is probably going to be the highest damage, you know, a Hydra Sorceress highest damage on world boss. And you're dead. One legendary. I guess we'll take it. Yeah, I don't care about your... Nope, don't care about your cutscene. Let's see what we got. Huh? Blood mist, huh? Interesting.
Worry not, better.
Take a chance, wanderer.
Let's get some extra gear. We need to up our gear a little bit. We're close enough to 25 where I'm kind of tapped out on the blue coins anyways. Okay. That seems to be the main modifier I get. Plus 2 skeletons. I have it on like 5 items now. We can figure out the modifiers later. I'm just trying to get to 25 and then get a druid to 25. Okay. Yeah.
It seems your prayers have been answered.
Yeah, this ring is busted. The modifier on this ring is insane. You don't even need corpse explosion on your bar anymore. You just hit blood mist mode, run over whatever corpses you run over, they just explode. This is insane. My skeletons don't even get a chance to kill anything anymore. It's busted. I still like the skeletons though. It gives you a lot of damage. See how fast we melt this guy? Alright, so this is just skelly damage. And then Iron Maiden, of course, with an Iron Maiden modifier. I mean, it's just melting this fool. Yeah. Broken. I'm gonna have to hop back over my source though. I haven't played my Hydra source in a minute. I want to see if it's actually more busted. Interesting. Kind of underwhelming. I thought Army of the Dead would be a lot cooler than that. It just puts out a couple of random skeletons that run and do explosive damage that's not impressive at all. Huh. Being a summon Necro for the most part with, you know, corpse explosion. Now let's try Blood Wave. Yeah, it definitely is more initial damage for sure. There's a lot more damage, a lot more range too, it seems like. Just one initial attack though. Let's try out Bone Storm. I mean, this is insane. This modifier on this ring is the best modifier so far. I mean, other than the +2 skellies, because that's just cool. I love summon Necros in D2 when you could just have, I mean, I don't even know. I forget how many summons you can have. I want to say it's like 60-ish or something. I don't know how late game's gonna work out though. I was looking over all the skill points, and I'm not sure if summon Necro is gonna be worthwhile or not. I think the big thing is gonna be getting the modifiers that you get more thorns and armor and life get inherited by your summons. I've seen a couple of modifiers like that, so I think late game that's probably what you're gonna have to do to have your summons be more survivable. Yeah, I mean, this is just easy mode at this point, just because of one modifier on one ring. That looks pretty cool. A decent amount of damage. I gotta make sure we keep those experience potions up. Now that the servers seem to have calmed down a little bit. After I hit 25 on this, I gotta do 25 on a Druid. Yeah, this guy's melting. Yeah, goodbye. And really? You drop us nothing?
No survivors.
Alright, so if you guys don't already know, once you're, depending on what class you're playing and depending on your damage output, this is a good zone. I actually came here on a source at level 21 and was just popping stuff off, so everything here is level 25 up until you reach level 25. Then everything turns to 30, which is insane. Good place to farm gear.
The smaller growths are protecting the larger ones.
No shit. Still mess up this room. This guy's gonna get melted. Okay, goodbye. I would say this whole area is quite confusing at times. Yeah, kind of have to bounce around, take all the smaller pool piles out, and then hit the bigger ones, and then you get to this boss. See how my summons do? Oh, we're chunking him. Ooh, he's getting chunked. Let's do a blood mist once we get some corpses under him. He's probably 2 under him right now. Yeah. Easy peasy. I'm curious to see how all the other acts are going to be. There's because this place is kind of like frigid area. I want to see these different landscapes. See if they do the other games justice. Ring the little bell. And that's that. I'd say overall the Necro's busted. Probably one of the easiest people to level. You just keep pumping points into skeleton mastery stuff. Then as soon as you're able to take corpse explosion, you put 1 point into it. I didn't even put more points into it until later on. Then if you're lucky enough to find an early item that has that modifier that takes blood mist, and when you're in blood mist form, you run over a corpse, and any corpse you touch, it's just gonna explode like this, and yeah, you just destroy everything. So with the exception of pretty much the hardest boss, Mr. Angry Time of the Month guy, yeah, he's gonna take your skeletons down pretty good, but still a viable build, it seems like, in beta. Wait and see how it actually turns out. But just the base damage on corpse explosion is so insane. So I'm doing the Golem quest here. It's at like the far northwest of the screen. Don't forget that shrine. It was getting really buggy. The more and more summons I got, the harder it was to just like move from one zone to the next, getting bumped back and everything.
One who's devoted his entire...
Yeah, I didn't want to listen to him talk.
I'm not ready.
Easy. Making some bear burgers. Yeah, I did try out Decryptify. I do like Decryptify, and especially with the right modifier, but I think Iron Maiden is just too good to pass up. With or without a modifier, it doesn't really matter. Iron Maiden's so busted and broken.
Very good. These will do. You'll need essence of life, a spirit to transform
Don't we
the
all?
golem. There is a vile artifact buried in a hillside not far from here.
Essence of Life. I think it's called Amino X.
Lost souls leeching magic from them. Free those souls, and perhaps they'll help you in return.
See our map position here. Pretty simple. Just gotta run over here and get this golem. Creaky chair. The same Dietz Racer Tank Series chair for like 6 years. Maybe 7
There it
now.
is.
It creaks, but damn, still works great. Another fellow Necromancer. Yeah, this is all solo, by the way. Well, if you consider a Necromancer solo. Having like 12 summons up now. I'm gonna say for beta, the loading screens have not been horribly slow. The Q screen though, oof, nasty. This looks like it's gonna be easy. It is very interesting. You know, at D2R, you don't have any quest to get like an extra skill. As I noted last time, it's like they've taken so many different elements from other Blizzard games and thrown it into D4, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I mean, obviously, herbing is, you know, I mean, everyone knows about herbing in, you know, World of Warcraft. I mean, it's obviously a lot harder to farm up mats and everything. It's not so easily streamlined as far as, like, you don't have to go to a trainer and, you know, get apprentice training and this and that and everything. No, you just, you know, run over the ore node or run over the herb node and pick it up. But I do like that they put it in quest to, you know, like this quest to get, oh, not bad. Hang on to that. They put in quest for, you know, to get your final skill at 25 for the golem. Now this is where I couldn't figure out, you know, we got the golem. Not like having like a hard time, like, you know, when they do the skeleton mages, it just kind of like it's the same summon button, you know. Yeah, like it raises up all your warriors and it raises up all your mages after that. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do the same thing for golem. No, it's definitely its own skill, but like Diablo 3, you know, you can only have so many skills on your bar. So if you don't have the space left over on your bar, then it's not going to be. And if it's like a passive skill that you know, also has an active, or if it's a summon, you know, it can't just be clicked elsewhere like you could in, you know, like Diablo 2. Like if you guys have never played D3 but you played Diablo 2, like you can use any skill you want. It doesn't have to be on the bar, you know. I mean, it's you can just put an F button on there and assign it and move stuff around. There's not really any limitation. You just have to, you know, manually swap between them. But yeah, this was interesting. It's pretty much the same as D3, just a little bit easier, I think, once you figure out where the skill selection is. So there he is.
Bearer of Lilith's blood, she will have your soul.
But because of the blood mist modifier on that ring that I picked up, I don't actually need Corpse Explosion on my bar. So, you know, I basically had to take my ultimate ability off my bar to put Golem on the bar. Because I use Iron Maiden all the time. I use Blood Mist all the time. I want the basic skill damage, you know, for you know, creating corpses, a chance to create corpses and lifesteal, all that other kind of fun stuff. But I ended up just taking Corpse Explosion off the bar because of this modifier, and then just putting ultimate on right click, where Corpse Explosion used to be. So I think that's probably, you know, the best setup that I had at the time. I tried out all 3 different ultimates on the Necromancer. I think the Army of the Dead is definitely very underwhelming. There's not really a lot of damage in comparison to all my other abilities. So, and the Blood Wave I could see is like useful as a oh shit situation where, you know, maybe you're in a tight dungeon and you're completely surrounded and you can't move through enemies, and Blood Mist is on cooldown, which, you know, and it's not that long of a cooldown for Blood Mist, but let's just say it was, or you weren't using it and you want to knock all the enemies back, you could throw that ultimate Blood Wave out and knock all the enemies back. But still, like, I think overall, like, damage wise and just the synergy in my playstyle, I think Bone Armor's the best for me right now, or Bone Storm, whatever it's called. Now, this is the craziest thing. Everything is level 30 in here. So after you reach 25 and you clear this place, then everything turns to level 30. So it's pretty interesting. It's like there's these elite zones that are like 5 levels higher than you, that are just always going to be scaled higher. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, or maybe they just, you know, haven't finished the, you know, this isn't like the final version of how this elite zones are always going to be 5 levels higher than you. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is just so busted. All these enemies have 5 levels up on me, and it's, I mean, it's not even hard. This Corpse Explosion with the Blood Mist modifier is absolutely insane. It's such a main damage dealer. Having said that, I would still want all my summons up. I mean, you've seen how they melt bosses in this video, and I mean, it was other than the ridiculous queue times and basically logging in, you know, 5-6 times, playing for 5-10 minutes, and then getting booted out, while I'm watching other streamers, like, they're not getting booted out one time, not once. You know, and some of them are in the same kind of general area, you know, of where I live. So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, I guess it does make sense because they're like, oh, hey, let's point out all the streamers and make sure we don't get them booted off the server. Once they get in, let's leave them in there. You know, let's prioritize them over. I don't know if they do that or not. But yeah. Anyways, for sure, I don't think they messed up the Necromancer. I like the first impressions. I'm anxious to see how the longevity of summon Necros and Corpse Explosion is actually going to work in late game. But it is a busted build. It's really fun too. I always loved going into a town in D2 and just having a full build. Summon Necro with like 60 summons up, walking through town, lagging everyone's game. So hopefully they'll fix any issues like that. It definitely, like, going between playing my Sorceress or my Barbarian and then my Necromancer, the Necro seems to lag the server a lot. Like, when you get to that invisible wall zone from continuously walking, you really have to wait a lot more time. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. We did get the 25 first night here, and then we're just gonna leave and we're gonna jump on the Druid. I didn't have as much fun with the Druid. It's pretty cool, you know, cool to see different things, but you know, it's interesting. It's kind of underwhelming, like the Druid was when it first came out in D2, in my honest opinion.
Must wait a minute.
All right, so jumping right into it. I did have some fun early on playing the Druid. I took a weapon that I had from my barb. I got to equip it, I don't know, maybe around like level 8 or something. And he was hitting pretty hard with his shred combos. And I like the fact that the mobility is pretty awesome, actually. When you do your shred ability, there's a modifier to where you basically just like lunge at other enemies. And I tried out a little bit of everything, but I'd seen everybody in werebear form, which is pretty broken actually. Werebear, you're just kind of unkillable. But I wanted to just try something different. And so I was basically werewolf the entire time with, the modifier. As soon as I saw Hurricane, I had to try out Hurricane. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hybrid this werewolf Hurricane. I basically did the tiny quest and most of them, all the main quests, like at a very early level. I gotta say, I tried to do a dungeon around 21, 22, and it did not go well. Just the damage output and everything, it just, it kind of felt like the barb have, with no gear, no modified gear, no legendaries. Like the barb, can definitely be a strong, fun character, but I mean, you just can't melt through bosses like, some of the caster classes can. I'll have to play around with this guy and go more like a full bore, kind of caster mode and try and get him some different gear. But it was cool to see how they did werewolf and werebear, because in D2 you actually had to you had to put it on your bar, you had to transform, and then the transformation only lasted for a certain amount of duration. And you could only cast, werewolf abilities while in that form. You could not cast, other abilities. You couldn't cast like human form abilities. So it's pretty interesting that you just kind of swap into whatever. When you start your basic attack, if you start as the werewolf basic attack, he just transforms into it, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. I've never been a huge Druid fan. I know they definitely seem to make him look a little more like, I don't know, it gives me more of a WoW feeling than it does a Diablo 2 feeling for the Druid. But it is cool that they do have Hurricane in here. Definitely one of my favorite abilities. I was curious to see, if they did a little bit more fire abilities and different things, but again, it's not a high damage. Definitely not a high damage output compared to the sorceress, compared to the necromancer, even compared to the rogue. Not a massive source of damage. You're very gear dependent on damage, as far as your weapon goes, which unfortunately I didn't get anything super good weapon wise on this guy. I just, I had to do it either way. I was like, I'm just gonna hit 25 on both these guys while the servers are nice and light. As you can see what the time is in the top right of the screen. I wasn't giving up. I was determined to hit 25 on the Necromancer and the Druid after having those long, ridiculous queue times just like last weekend. It calmed down, later into the night, as people were going to sleep and, as there was less traffic on the servers. So it's very interesting. I'm definitely gonna respec this guy into, like full human form, more lightning mode, and then go full werebear abilities as well. I just know from what I've seen, these werebear guys, that I just kind of encountered while I was playing my Necromancer, they're just unkillable. they just, you know, they just run into a whole bunch of shit. And looking at some of the synergizing abilities, it definitely seems like they're more based around damage reduction. Although Maul does have some really good AoE synergies from what it looks like. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But there was many boss fights that I barely muddled through, and then there was other boss fights where I just left. I just couldn't do it on this guy. I tried to respec him, but I just didn't have the gear at the level. But it was still fun, you know. I mean, you know, considering, you know, the Necromancer didn't need any help at all. And I mean, considering I got like basically no gear on this guy, and I was still able to get 1 through 25 fairly quickly. Still get to bed at a somewhat decent hour. But yeah, it was fun though. I definitely liked the lunge, being able to have that mobility. You know, on shred to, you know, just jump from one enemy to the next was really cool. I like I think it's called Maelstrom, I forget what it's called, but the ultimate ability, you know, you know, you got tornadoes and lightning coming down. I think it looks really cool. I like the animation of it for sure. I think they did a great job. It's very interesting seeing all the detail like on your pelt as you're like smashing through these fools. It was really cool. But yeah, I don't think this would be a class that I would be playing. I wish there was something more along the lines for Oak Sage, you know, to increase your health a lot. I did have all the summons up early, but it didn't seem to make that big of a difference. You know, I took all the points out of summon and just put them into you know, hurricane and werewolf form. So yeah, if you don't have super high damage, or you just haven't found that good gear, it's better to just open world events and open world farming than dungeons, than dying in dungeons like 5 different times. I didn't want to take it off of veteran mode. You know, with veteran mode and then experience potions popped, it definitely climbs you up pretty quickly. So nice emerald. Like, please get away from me, get away from me. Sure.
I must wait a moment.
The ultimate looks really cool. I mean, having tornadoes and a hurricane up at the same time, and then lightning. Obviously the hurricane's its own skill, but the lightning and tornadoes is pretty dope. I just think I need to go full spec one way or the other. Hybrid definitely does not work very well. Not with the gear I had. Well, there you have it. 2 level 25s one night. Anyone else have some bad nightmares of this queue timer popping up? Oh man, I've seen it too many times. Well, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, give me a sub. If you want to see some other content or skill trees, please let me know in the comments.
Take care, guys.